Welcome to Roman Fiction. If you like what you watch, please like and subscribe. Now on to the story. The sun had just begun to rise, casting gentle golden hues across the grand marble columns and ornate villas of Rome, when Lucia awoke to soft but urgent whispers just beyond her bedroom door. Her heart tightened immediately. She had known this. Day was inevitable. Her father had not been subtle about it. Yet, Lucia clung desperately to the fleeting hope that somehow, by some miracle, fate would intervene. She lay motionless, her eyes fixed on the intricate mosaic above her bed, a stunning depiction of the goddess Diana, poised in the woods with bow drawn, forever frozen mid-hunt. Lucia often admired Diana's strength and independence, envying her freedom. But Lucia had neither bow nor woodland sanctuary. All she had was duty and obedience, chains that bound her more securely than any physical restraint ever could. Her thoughts inevitably drifted to Marcus, her husband of nearly a year, whose tender laughter, gentle manner, and sincere kindness had slowly and unexpectedly opened her heart. Their marriage, although initially arranged for political convenience, had gradually blossomed into a genuine love Lucia never imagined possible. Marcus had become her confidant, her friend, and her most trusted companion. Yet, when her father had abruptly summoned her back to his home, Lucia had seen in his cold and yielding gaze what it meant. He intended to dissolve their marriage. A gentle knock interrupted her anxious thoughts. Before Lucia could respond, the door opened slightly, and her mother slipped quietly into the room. Her expression was sorrowful, her eyes downcast and resigned. "Your father wishes to speak with you immediately," her mother whispered, carefully. Avoiding Lucia's pleading gaze, Lucia rose slowly, attempting to steady her trembling hands, her breath shallow. She dressed quickly in a modest gown, feeling as though she were preparing for her own funeral rather than a family discussion. When she entered the grand hall, her father stood by the open window, overlooking the bustling streets of Rome, already filled with morning activities, vendors calling out their wares, slaves hurrying on errands, and citizens conducting business. He turned slowly, revealing a face devoid of warmth, only hardened resolve. "You will divorce Marcus," he declared bluntly, his voice echoing off the polished marble. "Senator Valens has requested your hand, and I have consented." Lucia's chest constricted painfully, and her vision momentarily blurred. A wave of nausea and disbelief washed over her. "Father, Marcus is my husband. You chose him yourself." Her father waved a dismissive hand, his eyes steely. "Marcus was suitable at the time, Lucia. But Senator Valens offers far greater potential. He is powerful, wealthy, influential. He will elevate our family's standing in Roman society beyond what Marcus could ever hope to achieve." Lucia stepped forward, desperation coloring her voice. "Father, please, Marcus is a good man, and we—" "Enough," he interrupted sharply, his voice cutting through her protests like a blade. "You will do as you are commanded. This is about more than your childish feelings. This is about duty, honor, and the family's future." Lucia saw no mercy in her father's unwavering eyes. Tears blurred her vision as she stumbled away, seeking solace in the gardens where Marcus had first held her hand. The fragrance of blooming jasmine, which had once brought joy and serenity, now mocked her grief and hopelessness. Days passed in a numb blur of reluctant preparations. Marcus visited once, but Lucia could barely look at him, the pain in his eyes mirroring her own suffering. Their last embrace was brief yet filled with unspoken anguish, their love cruelly silenced by the merciless demands of duty on the day of her marriage to Valens. The sprawling villa overflowed with prominent guests, laughter, music, and extravagant celebrations. Lucia felt detached, like a ghost drifting through the revelry. Valens was significantly older, distinguished in appearance but cold and indifferent in manner. As he took her hand, she felt no warmth, no emotional connection, only the crushing weight of obligation pressing down on her heart. That evening, as the guests danced beneath lanterns flickering gently in the evening breeze, Lucia slipped away. Through the empty halls, drawn to the tranquil sanctuary of the garden, moonlight illuminated the familiar statues in ghostly silver, but tonight their comforting presence was lost on her, Lucia. A voice, gentle yet unexpected, broke the silence. She turned sharply, her heart racing as Marcus stepped from the shadows, his face pale but resolute, his eyes glistened with ancient tears. Deep sadness etched into his features. Lucia's composure shattered instantly, and she rushed into his arms, sobbing softly against his chest. "I had to see you one last time," Marcus whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I had to know if there was still hope." Lucia lifted her head, cupping Marcus's face tenderly in her trembling hands. "I am yours, Marcus, always. My heart will never belong to another." Marcus sighed deeply, feeling a mix of relief and profound sorrow. "Then run away with me, Lucia. Leave this life behind. Together, we can find happiness far from Rome, far from your father's demands." Lucia's heart surged with desperate hope for a moment, but then faltered as reality set in. Marcus's sincerity was undeniable, and the love shining in his eyes mirrored her own. Yet the heavy chains of duty held her firmly in place, binding her irrevocably to her family's wishes. Her eyes lowered, defeated. "I cannot," she whispered brokenly. "My family's honor." "Honor," Marcus echoed bitterly, stepping back as if struck by her words. "What honor is there in this betrayal?" "Lucia." The silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating with heartbreak. Finally, Marcus nodded slowly, his jaw clenched tight, his eyes filled with reluctant understanding. "Farewell, Lucia," he murmured softly, turning away and disappearing into the enveloping darkness. Lucia watched him vanish, her heart shattering. Anew, alone beneath the indifferent gaze of the silver moon, she whispered the words she had lacked the courage to say earlier. "I love you." Duty, she bitterly realized, was exacting from her the cruelest price of all. She stood in the garden for a long time, tears streaming silently down her face until, resigned and hollow, she turned back toward the villa, where her new life awaited, devoid of love, but rich in painful sacrifice. Days turned into weeks as Lucia tried to adjust to her role as the wife of Senator Valens. Despite the grandeur and opulence of her new home, she felt like a prisoner, her heart remaining stubbornly loyal to Marcus. Valens, for his part, was not cruel, but he remained distant and indifferent, treating Lucia as merely another adornment to enhance his public image. Each day, Lucia walked through the gardens, thinking of Marcus, and each night she gazed at the stars, silently pleading for a sign of hope. Months passed, and as the seasons changed, she began to realize that her fate was sealed. Then, one quiet evening, a servant handed her a sealed message, her heart pounding. Lucia broke the wax seal and recognized Marcus's familiar handwriting. The note contained only a few words. "Meet me by the old temple at dusk, please, Lucia." Without hesitation, she made her way to the ancient temple, her heart racing with fear and excitement. Marcus waited for her in the shadows, his face etched with longing and sorrow. "Marcus," she whispered, tears filling her eyes as they embraced. "I thought I had lost you forever." Marcus held her close, his voice determined yet tender. "We have one last chance, Lucia. A ship leaves tomorrow for Greece. Come with me. Leave this all behind." Lucia hesitated, the weight of her father's expectations heavy on her shoulders. But looking into Marcus's eyes, she saw her future one, filled with love and true happiness. "Yes," she finally said, her voice filled with resolve. Yes, Marcus, I will come with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient Rome. If you enjoyed this story and crave more tales of intrigue, bravery, and adventure from the Roman Empire, click here for more Roman fiction. Until our next adventure, veil farewell.